Months after the Nexus had mysteriously vanished, Jesse's life seemed to have returned to normal, or at least as normal as it could be, given the lingering sense of dread and paranoia. The bizarre occurrences had faded into a dull background hum, and Jesse hoped that the ordeal was finally over. But then, one night, an encrypted message appeared in Jesse's inbox, its sender simply marked as The Nexus. The message was brief, but chilling. "Welcome back. Are you ready for the final task?" Panic surged through Jesse, but curiosity and fear kept the message from being deleted. The Nexus had returned with a new task, and it was unlike anything before. It was a single line of text. Complete the task to free yourself from the torment. The instructions were explicit and horrifying. Jesse was to commit a murder. The target was a person Jesse knew, but had always considered harmless, a co-worker named Mark. The message included a photograph of Mark, along with detailed instructions on how to carry out the act. There was no room for ambiguity. The Nexus was exact and cold in its demands. Jesse was torn apart by a gnawing conflict between morality and the fear of further psychological torment. The Nexus had previously toyed with Jesse's life, leaving lingering scars, and the thought of the Nexus extending its reach into reality was almost too overwhelming to bear. The message offered no negotiation or escape, only the ominous promise that failure would bring an even darker fate. Terror and dread clouded Jesse's mind, but the pressure to act was unbearable. The Nexus seemed to seep into every corner of Jesse's existence, its influence palpable in the whisper of shadows and the unrelenting sense of being watched. The sense of impending doom was too powerful to ignore. On a cold, rainy night, Jesse followed the instructions meticulously. Mark was alone at his apartment, the perfect target as the Nexus had planned. With every step, Jesse's heart raced, and every creak of the floorboards felt like a harbinger of the inevitable. As Jesse stood over Mark, the finality of the act loomed large. The Nexus's influence was palpable, an insidious presence that seemed to control every action, every thought. The chilling command echoed in Jesse's mind, driving the final act. The knife was cold, heavy, and all-consuming. When the deed was done, Jesse felt a grotesque sense of relief mixed with unbearable horror. The Nexus had not simply demanded the act, it had manipulated every element of the situation. The task was completed, and Jesse felt a profound emptiness, as though a part of their humanity had been ripped away. The morning after, the Nexus message reappeared, devoid of any satisfaction or reward. It simply read, "You are now free." But the freedom it promised was hollow. Jesse was left to grapple with the monstrous reality of their actions and the horrifying truth of the Nexus's control. The Nexus disappeared again, leaving Jesse to face the aftermath alone. The guilt and horror of the murder weighed heavily, overshadowed only by the lingering fear that the Nexus could return at any moment, ready to claim more from Jesse's shattered life. The true terror lay in knowing that the Nexus's reach had not only manipulated Jesse's mind, but had forever altered the boundaries of their morality and sanity.